Hello there, this is Mike Cattermole of Channel 4 Racing and At the Races, looking ahead to the John Smith's Grand National for Victor Chandler. The John Smith's Grand National looks set to be run in bright sunshine and on ground almost certain to be no faster than good, in spite of some watering this week. For sure, the ground will be safe. It'll also be lively enough, and that'll generally mean a fast pace with even more pressure on jumping prowess. So horses with a proven form on a sound surface, a good jumping record, and preferably in form should be making up any shortlist. And if they're well handicapped, well, so much the better. Well, certainly My Will seems to tick all of those boxes, with the possible exception of his jumping, as he can make the odd mistake. Even so, My Will has run 2 outstanding trials this season since returning from injury. His Hennessy 5th was eye-catching enough. It was his first start since running 3rd in the Betfred Gold Cup at Sandown 19 months earlier. The emphasis then was on his being looked after. With the National being his target all season, he wasn't seen again until the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And given that he wouldn't have been fully wound up, his staying on 5th was an outstanding effort, up there with the best of his career. If the weights were to be framed today, My Will would have another £8 on his back. With dual national winning rider Ruby Walsh on board, that has to be an enormous advantage. So with luck and a trouble-free round of jumping, he must take all the beating, as a stamina test like this is what he looks to have been crying out for. And the ground is not an issue either, as his close 3rd in the Betfred was on fast ground. He looks the one to beat, but is short enough in the betting now. But his trainer Paul Nicholls has also got Big Fella Thanks in the lineup, a chaser who looks to be crying out for a trip, judged on his 3rd at Kempton last time. But lack of experience and a suspicion about his jumping is off-putting. Cornish Set, on the other hand, is appealing at a decent price. Here's a horse that's bred to be a national winner, as he's related to former winners Hallo Dandy and Rhyme and Reason. Since he's had a breathing operation, Cornish Set has started to fulfil his potential, and his 2nd in the Welsh National showed that he could be a force here, and also he'll relish the drying ground. The fact that A.P. McCoy has taken his time to decide to ride Butler's Cabin is a little puzzling. The former Irish national winner, on good ground don't forget, was going so well when falling at Beecher's, A.P.'s nemesis, 2nd time round last year. But the reason why A.P. was late in committing is because the legendary jockey is of the firm opinion that Butler's Cabin is not anywhere near well enough handicapped to win, even if there was some encouragement to be had from his last time out 5th in the Fulk War in Kinmure at Cheltenham last month. In fact, looking back at last year's race, there's no doubt that Comply or Die was a very easy winner, and even if he's effectively £15 higher in the ratings this time, he's been trained very much with a repeat in mind. Forget his first 2 runs this season. The key to him is a pair of blinkers, and they were back on when he showed signs of a return to form at Cheltenham behind Wichita Lineman last time. He looked in need of the run that day too, and he looked sure to do himself justice. State of play, meanwhile, has always been a smart chaser, a good 6 behind Corto Star in the 2006 Gold Cup, and a former winner of the Hennessy tells you all that, and the key to him, he's got winning form on a sound surface. Until the last few days, Parsons' legacy has been the forgotten horse, as he's not been seen since being pulled up at Cheltenham in December. But he's another who's at his best on good ground. He jumps well in the main too, and goes well fresh, particularly so. But he seems fully exposed to me. Rambling Minster seems to be better than ever at the age of 11, having won his last 2 at Cheltenham and Haydock. He looked a real doer stare in the heavy ground at Haydock last time, but has won on good ground before too, and he's a sound jumper. He's never fallen. Once again, though, the Irish challenge looks a very strong one. Black Appalachian highlighted his national credentials by his runaway win in the Beecher Chase over these fences last November. Don't be thinking he's purely a mudlark either, as he handled good ground when 2nd at Punchestown last April. He looks at the top of his game when winning at Ferryhouse in February, and is fancied to do much better than he did in this race last year when he fell at the 2nd. Mouse Morris's Hear the Echo, an easy winner of the Irish National last March, has yet to prove he's effective on a sound surface, and he looks harshly treated, at least to these eyes. A darker one is Offshore Account, trained by Charlie Swan, who shaped well after a year off at Navan, but had looked to be going places before, and is a winner on good ground at Punchestown 2 seasons ago. In conclusion, My Will, in spite of the shortish price, must be the one to beat, but those fancy to run big races behind him include Cornish Set, Rambling Minster, Black Appalachian and Comply or Die, of course. Most importantly, the best of luck to all runners and riders.